Open to man is a freer, happier world. That is what Savitri's presence and power can do, is doing in this case. Savitri is the presence and power, and it can open man to a freer and happier world. He sees high steps climbing to self and light. Self, Atman, light, Prakash. Man, when he is close to her like that, he sees that thing. He sees high steps climbing to self and light. Her divine parts, the soul's allegiance, call, the faithfulness, the love, the adoration the soul has for something which is divine, which is something luminous, something greatening. It is towards that she is calling her love, her divine parts, the soul's allegiance call, their soul's faithfulness, adoration. It is that is being pulled towards her. It saw, it felt, it knew the deity. When they are drawn towards her, then it stands for soul. The soul sees, the soul feels, soul knows that here is some goddess, some divine power herself who is standing in front of them in human form. Her will was puissant on the natures as powerful. Her will was puissant on the nature's acts. Her heart's inexhaustible sweetness lured their hearts. Well, that is a sweetness. It cannot be exhausted at all. And it is the sweetness of her heart which constantly keeps on drawing them towards her. Her heart's inexhaustible sweetness lured their hearts, a being they loved whose bounds exceeded theirs. Well, human boundaries are there, but they see here somebody who has no boundaries. And it is that being which is drawn, which is getting drawn towards her. A being they loved whose bounds exceeded theirs. Her measure they could not reach, but bore her touch. That is not a small thing to bear her touch. So they have already some capacity that they can bear her touch. But bore her touch, answering with the flowers answer to the sun, the way the sun comes out and the flower responds to the awakening ray, it is in that manner they are responding to this sun. That Savitri is. Savitri, she is the daughter of sun god himself. That is what Savitri means. So it is to that sun god's daughter they are opening like a flower. Answering with the flowers answer to the sun, they gave themselves to her and asked no more. So that is the complete surrender. Yes, do whatever you like. We are here to adore you, to worship you. They gave themselves to her and asked no more. There is no question of demand anything at all from her because that itself comes automatically, so to say. One greater than themselves, too wide for the can one that stands for Savitri herself. Savitri, who is greater than them, all these people who are drawn towards her, too wide for their ken, for their understanding, for their grasp. Their minds could not understand, nor wholly know. Their lives replied to her. Their mind could not understand, yet their lives replied to her life. There is something, prana, life force is there, which opens out to her presence there. Their minds could not understand nor wholly know. Their lives replied to her, know at her words what she would say, they would follow. They felt a Godhead and obeyed a call. Well, I would say that this is not a small thing. Who feel the presence of the divine and follow his call. Very few. But here are already great souls who can perceive that there is something different here and who can follow what she is asking them to do. One greater than themselves, too wide for their ken, their minds could not understand nor wholly know. Their lives replied to hers, moved at her words. They felt a Godhead and obeyed a call. Answered to her, answered to her lead, and did her work in the world. What she wanted them to do in the world, they did. What she wanted them to follow, they are following. Answered to her lead and did her work. Their lives, their natures moved, compelled by hers. So this is a kind of divine tyranny. See, you have to follow that. You are but following it. It is a divine tyranny, divine dictatorship, or whatever you call it. But that is very happily accepted because you see something great in that, a kind of a reward you immediately feel getting from that. Their lives, their natures moved, compelled by her, as if the truth of their own larger selves. That is the reason why they are drawn towards her. Because the truth which is there in them, it is that which is demanding that. As if the truth of their own larger self put on an aspect of divinity to excel them to a pitch beyond their earth. By her presence, something has come out from them, the aspect of divinity has emerged in them, and it is that aspect of divinity which is rushing towards her. And that aspect of divinity is willing to accept whatever she is going to command them to do, this. So that dictatorship is a very acceptable dictatorship for them because by her presence, the aspect of divinity has emerged from within them. You see. To excel them to a pitch beyond their earth. They felt a larger future meet their walk. Yes, they have been moving around in this world, but here in the present, they see a sublimer goal in their journey. They see something awaiting for them in the future. They felt a larger future meet their walk. She held their hands. She chose for them their path. Of course, it is not physically, but what it means, she is guiding them. She is taking them on the path. Her divine presence is taking what has responded from within them, the divinity which was lying them, which has come out because of her. It is that divinity within them. It is that she is taking in her hand and taking them to their goal. They felt a larger future meet their walk. She held their hands. She chose for them their paths. Chose for them their paths. This is important. Their path. It is not that she is going to take everybody along the same path. You have a different path. I have a different path. He has a different path. She has a different path. Each depending upon the quality of his soul, the demand of his soul, the nature of his soul, the swabhava of his soul. That's what we call swabhava. So each swabhava, each character, each individuality has his own objective in existence here, his own will, his own aspiration, and it is that which is getting separately, individually fulfilled by her. So this is a very important phrase. Chose for them their path. You are here, psychic, follow the psychic path. You are here, vital, follow the Rajasic path. You are here, mental, spiritual path. Each one is following separately each path. She held their hand, she chose for them their path. They were moved by her towards great unknown things. Faith drew them, and the joy to feel themselves hers. Well, what is it that is prompting them? Some kind of an inner knowledge which cannot be expressed, and it is that faith which is making them closer to her, which is leading them. Faith drew them, means there is something which tells me, yes, this is the thing which I should do. I am not able to explain it, I am not able to mentalize it, rationalize it, not necessary also, but it is prompting me, it is driving me. That is the faith. Faith drew them, and the joy to feel themselves hers. They lived in her. They saw the world with her eyes. Well, it's not a small thing to be able to see the world with her eyes. See, that already needs a great accomplishment in the soul, in the character. They lived in her. They saw the world with her eyes. Some turned to her again the nature's bent. Well, not that everybody is willing to accept what she is going through. Each one has his own character. But there is something still in them which drives them. And they are willing to follow what she will tell. Some turn to her again their nature's bent. The nature may be rebellious also. Yet there is something which prompts them to follow her. Divided between wonder and revolt, that's the wonder. She is a wonderful person there, and at the same time, too great. I cannot accept it. Some sort of ego is hurting me, so I can't easily accept her, you see. Divided between wonder and revolt, drawn by her charm and mastered by her will. So that mastery, you see, I mean, human nature cannot easily accept that mastery, you see. So that there is sort of revolt also. Drawn by her charm and mastered by her will, possessed by her striving to possess. Impatient subjects, their tired, longing hearts, hugging the bonds close to which they most complained. You see, they want that bond. They want to be tied with her, and yet at the same time complain, this yoke on my head, this girl imposing her foot on my breast. It is that kind of a thing that revolt is there, see. They want that bond, yet at the same time there is a sort of revolt. See, that is what it begins now. Wonder and revolt. Again, they are against their nature's bent. These are the examples he is giving of that nature's bent. Impatient subjects, their tired, longing hearts, hugging the bonds close to way for which they most complained, murmured at a yoke they would have wept to lose. Yes, I don't like this yoke, but at the same time I will not be happy if the yoke is removed from my shoulder. I don't know, that is how the bullock feels when the yoke is put on his neck. They would have wept to lose the splendid yoke of her beauty and her love. Indeed, who would like to lose that yoke, to be away from that yoke, not to accept that yoke, you see. Her yoke of beauty and love. Others pursued her with life's blind desire. They don't know what they want, but they feel something in her and they pursue her. And claiming all of her as their lonely own. There are people who like that all that the mother is there should be mine. That kind of possessiveness is there. And claiming all of her as their lonely one, that none should share what she is going to give me. Hasten to engross her sweetness meant for all. It cannot be only for X, Y, Z, person A, person B, person C. It is meant for all. So if a person A wants everything of her only for himself, she is not going to accept that. As earth claims light for its lone separate need, this is what happens. Earth is claiming light from the sun for its own need, demanding her for their soul jealous clasp. They ask from her movements bounded like their own, and to their smallness crave a like response. Or they replied that she surpassed their grip and hoped to bind her close with longings of cords. They want to tie her in a knot, but she is going to escape. They repined that she surpassed. They don't feel happy that she is not there anymore in their class, you see. They feel uncomfortable, in fact, repined, and hope to bind her close with longing cords. They would not like to lose the grip that she has on them, and yet they would like to be bound by her. Or finding her touch desired too strong to bear, the other extreme. They blamed her for a tyranny they love. A tyranny they love. And yet they complain. This girl, so imperious, so imposing, you see, shrank to them. They blamed her for a tyranny they love. Shrank into themselves as from too bright a sun. This is what happens. When the sun is too bright, we go and try to sit under the shade of a tree. That is what happens, you see, under the shade of a tree. They blamed her for a tyranny they loved, shrank into themselves as from too bright a sun, yet hankered for the splendor they refuse. They don't want her, yet they hanker for it. See, this is the conflicting nature of man, because there is something which is desiring, something which is aspiring, but human nature is a mixed. The vital is there in us, the lower nature is there in us, which cannot accept too great a light immediately, and therefore it shrinks from that all the while. Yet hankered for the splendor they refuse, angrily enamored. You see, they are attracted to us and yet angry. Angrily enamored of a sweet, passionate ray, the weakness of their earth could hardly bear. Obviously, what can earth bear? They longed, but cried out as a touch desired. They desire her touch, but the moment she touches them, they cry out. The weakness of their earth could hardly bear. They longed, but cried out as a touch desired, inapt to meet divinity so close. Yes, because they are not accustomed to it. They are not used to it at all, you see. They fret and complain all the while, they repine all the while. They cannot accept. Inapt to meet divinity so close, intolerant of a force they could not house. It is that force, capital force, Shakti, the supreme divine Shakti herself, they cannot bear. Some drawn unwillingly by her divine sway, endured it like a sweet but alien spell. There are souls who go close to her, they endure to some extent because of spell. You see. But most of them are thrown back. You see. Alien, which is not familiar to them, different, outside, foreign to them. Endured like a sweet but alien spell, unable to mount to levels too sublime. They yearn to draw her down to their own earth. They want her here, but they are not able to bear her. Or forced to center around her their passionate lives. They hope to bind to their hearts human needs, her glory and grace that had enslaved their souls. Well, this is the conflicting nature of man, unprepared human nature which cannot accept the divine presence and the divine might. She is there, you want it all, but you are not prepared, you are not ready. The divine is willing to give you all that thing, but you are not grown to that extent. And we will stop with that. The new section can take next time. So this is how the growth of the flame is taking place, and there is a certain logic in giving such elaborate description. The story, so to say, is moving very fast. The episodes are rushing one after the other. First we had Savitri taking birth, the seasons, Savitri taking birth, she is growing, she is getting education in all the branches, human knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and with all those things established in her, she finds herself, she doesn't find, but we find that she is somebody totally different. She becomes unapproachable. We want her, but we cannot be close enough to her. We are not ready, we are not prepared to bear her presence. That is our condition. Now, this is going to lead to a problem. Her greatness, her mightiness, her sweetness, her love is going to lead to a problem. The problem is Savitri has grown up into full maidenhood and she has to get married. But there is no person who would claim her hand in marriage. How is Savitri going to find her mate? Her husband, basically. So that is so the whole logic, there is a certain meaning, purpose in describing all the details also, you see. Because the story is moving forward very fast, very rapidly, with a purpose also, you see. And later on, of course, then her father tells to Savitri, Savitri, look, as no prince has come forward claiming your hand in marriage, you are now free to find one whom you would like, who would be your perfect mate. You choose your own husband now. And then Savitri sets on a long journey, going from place to place, from country to country, from region to region, traveling day after day, month after month, maybe for a year. And then ultimately she comes to the Shalva woods and suddenly, suddenly she meets Satyavan there. Now, see, this is important. She meets Satyavan, they immediately recognize each other's ancient identity, who he is, who she is, they immediately recognize. Therefore, all the qualities which are described here, that she is this, etc., etc., they are also indirectly the quality of Satyavan. It is he who can match her in every respect what we have here. So the poet did not describe the qualities of Satyavan in that sense. He has already done all that thing for Satyavan here, because he is going to be her partner, her equal, and therefore this also applies to Satyavan, that he is the one who is going to bear all that thing. You see, people repel, they recoil from Savitri. Satyavan is not good. He is rushing towards her, and they have recognized their identity, their oneness already here, and they find each other as fit, appropriate partners for carrying out the work for which they had taken human births. So indirectly, we also see here a sort of a description of the qualities which Satyavan is having here.